in order to put my sorrow out there and just allow people to see that you can overcome, you can get past it. Like Nikol said, you are, not can, but you are more than a conqueror. And greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. So I can overcome what I've been through, and I don't look like what I've been through, but my goal is to make sure when you come out, you would do the same thing and pay it forward. And this is the model that we carry at BWIF. First of all, we believe that no story should go untold. The second thing is that we want to make sure that once you tell it, you're healed. Because if you're healed about it, you're going to put so much passion into that story that a person can't help but to be healed by even just watching it, just listening to the content. It could just be a conversation, but because that person went through it and we're paying it forward, it has to produce healing. And so that is my take on that. That's the pain that I've suffered. I am no longer in pain. So now it's time to gain some type of recognition for what I've been through. And I always ask God, I've been through a lot. And, the things that I've went through, you almost feel like you're cursed. Like, you ask yourself, well, who says that my parents for? Because I know I didn't kill anybody. I know I didn't sell no drugs to nobody and cause them to commit suicide or overdose. So whose sins is this, and why is stuff coming so hardcore on me alone? But we're living in a world where there's much suffering and there's much pain. You have to pick the battle that you're going to fight. And so the battles that I choose to fight is the battles that I wrote about and put it out there so someone else can be healed from it. So that's my take, and, making sure that my pain had, some type of gain to it. That's my take on that.
Overcomer. And Nikol? Nikol, are you there? I believe we have some technical difficulties. Nikol, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, we can. Can you hear me? Okay. Yeah, what I was saying was my gain from pain story, I kind of talked about a little bit earlier, would be divorcing my best friend. We were very good friends and close and everything, and we're still, friends now, but, he's no longer my husband. And that really pained me because at the time when I was deciding on what to do, I didn't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? And then I just kind of stepped out. Okay, well, I'm just go ahead and go back home, and then if I need to come back, I can. And a little bit, my husband was an aspiring filmmaker, and I come from believing in a traditional marriage. You support your spouse and everything, and he supported me to get my degree and my master's and stuff. So I wanted to support him. I left a very lucrative job to go to follow him to L.A. and support him to become a filmmaker. And so I'm doing everything and putting all my energy to push him and, to do this and be great. But I didn't give myself any energy. And so I was kind of drained. And then I wanted, him to have all these things and be all these things, not realizing that he didn't want it because there was a lack of action. And so, that I was hurt because I was giving so much and they were giving back so little. So, once I came home, naturally I had a little, depression and stuff like that. And, I have all this education and I know how to do all these things and stuff, but I'm not happy and I don't know what to do. So that's, the pain of when I started, when I came back home, I didn't have a room. Okay, my room had turned into my mom's wardrobe. So she had to make her wardrobe room. So she had to make space for me on an air mattress. So here I am unemployed with all these skills, all this stuff going on, and I'm laying on the air mattress in the dark crying, trying to figure out where did I go wrong? What did I do? Because I gave all my power to someone else instead of myself. And so, that's when I started, hey, I'm going to make a vision board. And all this stuff is test things. They say if you make a vision board, then, these things will come true. Okay, well, I'm going to try it, whatever. I don't have nothing else to do and I don't have nothing to lose. So I did that. I literally cut out different things, colored them, and, all that. And then I made my intention list. And, again, I was very specific, especially when it came to the film industry. I specifically put on there people I wanted to work with in the film. And every last one of those people I have marked off of my list. And so, even though I was laying there, on the air mattress, depressed, crying sometimes, I still was getting energized because I had set that intention list and vision board where I'm always constantly staring at it. Even when I'm laying down feeling sorry for myself in bed, I still see it. I see it. Then it's like now I can close my eyes and I know where everything is placed. I know where everything is written, all those different things. So, my pain was losing my husband, well, he's still a friend, but, it's still not the same connection, but losing all of that and I had a chance to have a lucrative job, and I losing all of those things to come back to a half of a room on an air mattress. But because I still looked at that vision and I still, took that power that I gave my friend to myself, and you can do it. Do this every day. Just write one page, just, and telling myself what I was telling him, I gained, and I am where I am now. Prime example, like I said, my first client, we still have not met. And this person has put me, it's just overwhelming where I am, today, and within a year and a half compared to where I was last year with just nothing but air mattress and tears in my eyes.
Yeah. And what you ladies sharing reflects and speaks volume. And what you shared is truly going to touch someone's life and save someone. Because God has a way of converting painful moments into his instrument of grace. And I'm a believer that we can gain from the pain, and through pain there's purpose. And I appreciate what Joan was sharing about sickle cell, because I'm really big about sickle cell awareness and getting the word out there. And it showed that God has kept you through all that, things that may seem traumatic in your life, that you realize there's a bigger purpose that's not always totally about what we're going through, our crisis, but it's to help someone else. And so we have these shows like Millionaires in Training because we're trying to get the word out about domestic violence, also about suicide. Just because in 2016, the second leading cause of death in the U.S. for people between the ages of 10 and 34 was suicide. And suicide is on the rise, and even divorce rate is becoming an epidemic in America. And in 2015, 44,193 Americans died by their own hand. And when it comes to domestic violence, it does not discriminate against race, age, sexual orientation, gender, religion. We have to be mindful of that. That this abusive type of behavior is a part of being a systematic pattern that is a sense of control by one's partner that can result in injury, psychological, emotional distress. So what your ladies have shared with the listening audience is a motivating testimony, heartfelt, that shines a beacon of light. It lights the way for those who are going through pain, but it shows your courage, your character, and your conviction that cannot fail to make a contribution to humanity of historical dimensions. It also shows that your faith and your fortitude and your values. And that's the kind of soul-stirring transparency is truly inspiring and motivating and extreme. But we cannot have the victim mindset that can cripple us, that fear immobilizes us and paralyzes us. But when we go through things like that, we have to have that introspection of our own life, spiritual introspection. It tends to allow us to be able to identify our strengths as well as our kryptonites, our weaknesses. And I like this quote by Dr. Martin Luther King. He said, our legacy should be like, for the compelling necessity of embracing the fierce urgency of now, for there's no substitute for action. We have to be action-oriented. We have to be proactive. And you ladies are showing us that no matter what we go through, that God has a ram in the bush. He will provide for us. Just like in Joshua, that when the Ark of the Covenant, and God has given us covenant blessings that we have. This is biblical. Strong foundation. Even with these ebbs and flows of life, you are being catalyst. And when he talks about even in Joshua, he said it came to pass when the priests that bear the Ark of the Covenant of the Lord will come out of the midst of Jordan, and the soles of the priest's feet were lifted up unto dry land, that the waters of Jordan returned into their place and flowed over the banks as they did before. We have a God that is doing supernatural even in this day, that tomorrow could be totally different. But I just want to encourage the listening audience as you listen to these powerful, anointed women that's gifted, that's giving back to women and giving back to the community. They're showing us purpose. They're showing us that they, like Candace was saying about the resiliency. And I know that Candace could further elaborate on that because she's really, really good with building others up, and it's her apostolic calling that's on her life. She's anointed to speak these blessings and things that God has imparted in her spirit to say. And ladies, I say, keep being the ray of sunshine that you are. That so many people are beset with a constellation of inhospitable thoughts, but you are reaching the unreached. There you go. Take it away, Candace. Candace, are you there?
I am. And I just have to say to you wonderful, brilliant women in film, thank you from the bottom of our hearts. You all are such a gift to the world. And really briefly, I know that you are brilliant women in film. You all visit them online. Brilliant women in film. Your stories of your transformative stories are going to transform lives because you have chosen not to just be a gifting, but to be the gift. So I applaud you. And at this time, if you could briefly, we're trying to wrap up the show, but I want to do this real briefly. If you could say, one of you could talk about the future projects that you collectively are working on, if you can share it. And then one by one, starting with Nikol, I'll go ahead and ask Nikol Johnson if you could share just one or two projects that you're working on as a collective, and then share with the listening audience how they can follow you all. Okay? So please let us know how we can be a part of this dynamic organization.
Well, one of the projects we're working on right now is a TV series that we are using to ignite thoughts and provoke people to really take heed to what's going on in the world. And this TV pilot show will give examples of how you deal with domestic violence, the sickle cell, supporting families that are dealing with sickle cell. And so each series will touch on things that are needed in the world. And one of the projects that I'm working on right now is Daddy's Dying Love. It is going to be a featured film about relationships with fathers. And I think it's very important that a lot of us are growing up with daddy issues, and we don't know how to deal with it, and we don't know how to even build those relationships. And so I think it's very important for us to bring the father back into the home and to at least give them a voice as to what's going on. And so I'm definitely going to launch that in 2019. And so
how? Mm-hmm.